Hi, we're back, Minivan Musician podcast, and we are back doing another episode for Helene. But we have three people here today that I would like to introduce you to who have been a huge part of the relief efforts and ongoing and various endeavors that they're doing now that are going to help in the future. So while I babble on like an idiot, let's have you guys introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
Hey, ladies. I'm Ashley. Ashley Garrison. Have a nonprofit, Honeywise Community Outreach. Just started a village of tiny homes on my property in Old Fort, called the KAB Village. That's it. Done.
Hey guys, I'm Big Yummy.
Dig it.
It's Big Yummy Barbecue and Feed the People. The Feed the People is a 501c nonprofit. We've gotten some donations. We got a lot the first 2 weeks of the
Various endeavors that they're doing now that are going to help in the future. Let's have you guys introduce yourselves.
Ladies first. Hey, ladies.
I'm Ashley. Ashley Garrison. Have a nonprofit, Honeywise Community Outreach. Just started a village of tiny homes on my property in Old Fort, called the KAB Village. That's it. Done.
Hey guys, I'm Big Yummy.
Dig it.
It's Big Yummy Barbecue and Feed the People. The Feed the People is a 501c nonprofit. We've gotten some donations. We got a lot the first 2 weeks of the hurricane, and then it's like everything dried up at Christmas, and then we've started. My wife, I just turned 61 yesterday.
Happy
So,
birthday!
So my wife turned a campaign, 61 cents. We'll get a bowl of black beans and rice for somebody. $6.10. We'll get them a whole meal with proteins and a couple sides. 610. We'll feed about 100 people. And then 6,100 we can feed for about 3 weeks of nonstop Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This weekend we're going to be up in Irwin, Tennessee, with Mindy Barrett and Deborah from Help a Vet Shine. And that's a propane and kerosene giveaway. And then we're going to be with Rodney and Ashley, I think, on March 1st over in Candler. So we appreciate you guys having us. It's all about getting our stories out there because everybody wants to know why are we still up in North Carolina helping. And the thing about it is, all you got to do is take a ride.
Yeah.
Put your boots in the dirt, and you'd understand why. So, Rodney, you're up next, brother.
I'm here. Hey, y'all, Rodney, Pay It Forward Network. We are a 501c3. We're based out of Lake City, Florida. I've got family in the mountains here in North Carolina. I'm a property landowner here in North Carolina. And when the storm hit, I was actually out of state in another state, and I got a phone call to tell me how bad it was, and I didn't believe it. So I called family up here, and they said, yes, it's beyond belief. So when I got back home, I turned around, loaded up, and started taking a collection of donations to come this way and bring them up. And actually, some of it actually came here to this building through somebody else we'll talk about later. And then when I went back home for the second run, it was getting cold, and I thought to myself, wow, these people have nowhere to live. So I put a camper challenge out on Facebook, and it had like 10,000 views within 2 days. And I challenged people to donate their camper, and we moved into donating campers. We would buy campers, bring them up. People would donate campers to us. We would bring them up, and then that's still going. We have campers in Alabama we're going to go get. We just donated one last week to a family that's sitting down at Camping World that was displaced by the storm. One went to Emily. The list is long, but now we've kind of changed directions. I've had some people reach out and ask us to help rebuild bridges and fix their waterways. So we've got equipment back home that's being equipped with the biodegradable hydraulic oil so we can get in the rivers and waterways And part two of that is we've teamed up with the National Mental Health Alliance out of Swannanoa. Their organization has built 101 tiny structures here, McDowell County, then surrounding areas, Burke County and Buncombe County. They're moving to Hot Springs. So we're going to help them over in Hot Springs and just keep going. Phase two is whatever's needed is what's going to take place.
That's
All right.
incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like blown away. That's amazing.
That's something I've noticed is just like this adjustment where people will come in here maybe to help for a weekend or they give some food away or something. And next thing you know, they're pivoting to building bridges or
Right.
finding campers and stuff. And it's so resourceful. It's unbelievable, to be honest. I wouldn't have imagined that people could pull this off. So
That's actually what made me use my land to go ahead and get it cleared and ready for these tiny homes for the people that don't have a place. They don't have their own land, so they need somewhere to go. And
that's what I was wondering. Like, so it is your land that you're putting these on.
Mhm.
How much land do you have?
2.5 acres.
2.5
Well, like
acres.
2.5 acres.
And is there any issue with you being quote unquote allowed to do that, like
I
zoning
mean, so
or
far out in
whatever?
the country that there's no restrictions on.
Oh, okay, all right. That's great though.
We still gotta put in the infrastructure as far as plumbing and.
One of those things, just go ahead and, get permission later.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the way I felt about the whole thing when you're hearing that. Like I was hearing that the stuff that the Amish did, they were saying, well, people can't live there. That's basically what you're hearing. But I know that there's something done to stop
Well, National
stoppage
Mental
of
Health
that.
Alliance, every week for the last, 2 months, has been nothing but Amish coming down from Maryland.
Wow.
Josh Bailey on TikTok, Arrow Affliction, and his community has substantially helped that community and that tiny home.
What y'all deliver? 19 over the weekend?
We delivered 19 last weekend.
Wow.
18 or 19, I don't remember.
That's insane.
What
Yeah,
was
it
it?
is.
7 came my way.
You got 6.
Yeah,
And
and
Shane got
we'll
one.
put a
Shane got
picture of
one.
that in here so you guys
Well,
can see it.
that one place they all turned in from a tent city right there in Old Fort to
Harrison Fort.
Yeah.
And those people are all living in tiny homes now.
And some of that has moved to Sky Island Campground. Debbie has allowed the front property to be cleared at the top. And they're putting 5 to 7 down there as well. So the community has really came together to help the people of Old Fort and McDowell County in general, from what I've seen.
So there's a lot more displaced than people realize.
Oh
That's
my
what we
gosh,
keep
yes.
trying to get across.
For sure.
Outside of this area, it seems like people think it's a handful of people, or they think it's people who are just being stubborn.
Right.
Yeah,
Was the thing that they were,
yes.
yeah.
When I was told about Hot Springs, we went over there this past weekend. We met Chicken Man and Nels and a bunch of great, great people. I think Hot Springs is under 600. How many people live there?
The actual
Yeah.
population.
The population. And 150 or 170 are without a job because 2 major employers their businesses washed away in the storm.
Mm,
So they have no work. So they're on unemployment. That's not going to last long.
right.
So there's big things coming for Hot Springs. And then I can't confirm nor deny, but the tiny structures are going to be reconfigured to where we can cross state lines and go into Tennessee. Because in Tennessee, you can't be 12 feet wide.
Oh.
I heard something about that.
So they're going to be
with
reconfigured to where
limitations.
this can branch out into Tennessee as well and help people there.
That would be amazing.
It would. And how many are going on your property? How many campers are you putting there?
Tiny home.
Yeah, she's
Or tiny homes, I mean, I'm sorry.
We got there now.
There's 6 there now.
6 there now. Yeah. That's
And then what's your plan to grow it to as many as you can get, I think.
Yeah, as many as they can fit with everything.
yeah.
And people need to understand that's just Old Fort, which is a very small place that has
Correct.
something like 1,000 people.
There's probably 15 in this general area right here behind us that I've been a part of delivering.
Wow.
They're all over the place.
I already have a list of like 5 people that are already asking to get in these. And I'm not ready.
I know. And that's another thing that's like really difficult that I've found while doing any sort of disaster relief since the beginning of this is that, the needs have not stopped. They have grown and they've changed, and that's what we keep trying to get across to people, is that, as time goes by and the seasons change and everything, the needs are going to change. And even there's still people that need, daily necessity stuff too, though. So it's hard when you have people coming to you in these situations that are still just as dire as they were 4 months ago. And, people don't believe that that's true, and it's like, well,
No, it's
no,
the same. People lost
it
their entire
is.
lives. So
Yeah.
you can't rebuild a life in a
including
month.
jobs. I mean,
Yeah. It's like, oh,
Jobs,
well,
cars,
get a new
transportation,
job. Okay.
families.
I don't have a vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
What I tell people is to walk out your front door, close your eyes. What do you see? What do you have? You've left and I'm sorry, middle of the night, everything's in the house. You have just what you have on. Walk outside, close your eyes, open your eyes, and picture everything's gone. Your neighbors are gone, your house is gone, your family's gone, car's gone, job's gone. How do you start back? And I've ran into so many of those families up here that have lost loved ones. I mean, a young lady came into one of the hubs we delivered to that I can't remember if she lost her son or her daughter, watched the little kid, float away down the river.
Oh
my God.
And she was just so thankful to be able to get some stuff to, continue on with life.
Mm-hmm.
She's a strong lady to be able to do that.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, it's hard when you enter this field or this realm or whatever you want to call it of helping people, because you get those situations like that one, or situations where you have someone come to you with only the clothes on their back, and they're explaining how their house is washed away and they basically just have a foundation and they don't have anything at all, and they're asking you for a tent to live in and it's freezing cold. It's just, it's stuff
And it's
that,
hard for them to ask for that tent.
oh,
too.
absolutely.
Or
gotta
I
do
mean,
so much more.
because we saw people day 2, day 3, day 8, day 108,
Mm-hmm.
and you're offering them a hot meal, and they're going, "No, I'm okay."
Yep.
But I've got some people that need it, and we're going, guys, just let's help you, and to get them to accept just a hot meal, and you see it on their face that they hadn't eaten in 2 or 3 days, and they're, I can only imagine when you turn over that house to a family of 5 or 6, and it has power and it has sleeping bags and heat and everything. Because I know the look on their face that we've seen from the beginning of just somebody that's trying to help them, and they don't want to take the help because these are prideful people.
Yes.
Guys, these are mountain folks.
Mountain people.
They don't want to take the help, and you have to explain to them, "Oh, you're helping me out. This food's got to go to waste if you don't take it," and then make them feel like it's something you're doing that they're helping you out.
Right.
Because they still don't want the help. They,
Seems like they're always saying this person needs it more than me.
That's exactly. You're exactly right.
In my conic
that's what we've
containers,
heard.
the thing that got me the most is the blankets. It's always anybody that comes to get anything. It's always a blanket that they go for, and they'll find that one blanket, and they're just like, they're just. You can see it. You can see that. Yeah, that look on their face, and it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know personally that since starting all of this, I mean, my entire course of my life has changed. I know everybody's has changed in some way. We were fortunate to not, lose our home or vehicles or, have a lot of damage or anything, and so we were very lucky. But to enter into, helping people, you kind of think like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to do this for a little while. Not like this is going to suddenly be my entire life. And now I know all of these people who I didn't know at all before,
Yep.
And you grow to love these people. I mean, even if it's people that you don't really know, but people that come and get stuff from you. And it's like, you have this love for these people. And I know I carry it home with me. And I'm sure all of you carry it home with you. And any other volunteer or relief worker knows exactly what I'm saying. You carry it home. And there are nights where it is hard. and it is hard to not let the emotions out. And it's just it's very heavy. And I know that people from the outside looking in, they really just can't fathom that. And I mean, I guess I can't expect them to.
Right.
But when we say that Western North Carolina still needs help, we mean it. We really, really, really mean it. So anybody that is watching this, please, please know that we are still in need of help in so many ways.
And I'm kind of like, words talk, numbers scream. Borrow something from Tom on PBD, and what is it? 160,000 homes were badly damaged or completely wiped out. I mean, think about that. You got what, 2.5 people probably on average per home. So now you're talking 400,000 people essentially were in kind of a homeless situation. Maybe some of them got some kind of insurance or something like that, or
If it pays.
right.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem. I keep hearing that it really doesn't in most situations. And then there's the FEMA thing, which I'll probably have to even beep that word out. Well, maybe not now. Things have changed since the
Yeah,
beginning of
yeah,
January.
right.
It's strange. Since the beginning of January, it's weird. I can say stuff. I can even talk about certain doctors and shots and stuff.
They wouldn't let us before. They struck our YouTube.
But yeah, we ran into a lot of, like, basically their description was they would have, I don't know, a property that, I did a thing where I broke down all these numbers, and basically the average property here was worth something like $260,000 or something, and people's entire properties ruined, and they were getting offered by that organization like $10,000.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't care what your lifestyle is. That's
yeah,
nothing.
you're like,
Right.
$10,000.
It's gone very quickly, especially when you're having to pay to stay somewhere. Like you said, you don't have any income.
Yeah.
You can't drive yourself around. Like, what are you going to do? I've been in this position before in my life many times where it had nothing to do with a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's almost impossible to get out of, except for help from people around you. And if the people around you don't have anything, what do you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
Can't lean on it.
If they were on unemployment, that's going to run out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Then they're where they worked is gone. So
that's something you haven't heard people talk about much, is the loss of jobs and stuff. You really have.
A very good friend of mine had to move back to Denver, Colorado, because he lost his metalworking shop in Old Fort. It flooded, then they sold the building right out from under him.
Jeez.
And the guy that owned the trailer park in Old Fort, all the trailers but 2 washed away. And this is third party. Don't know if it's true or not, but the mayor of Old Fort went to him and asked if he could, acquire, FEMA to bring homes in there and put some FEMA houses in there for people. And he goes, no, I'm going to sell it.
It was almost that exact same account.
So I went to him. I offered to buy it. I asked him how much he wanted for it. He said $150,000. I said, okay, I'll buy it. And I was going to let people put their trailers back in there. And he goes, no, I've already got a buyer for it. I said, has he paid you? He said, no. I said, okay, I'll go to the bank in the morning. I'll activate my line of credit. I'll have you the money tomorrow. He said, nope, I'm selling it to somebody else.
Wow.
Man.
So,
but guys, you take somebody like Rodney, who, guys, he's from Florida. Now, he does have connections to the area, but we've seen a lot of people, you take Josh from Airport. He comes down every weekend. He goes and works his regular job and then comes down on Friday morning, and he's here Friday, Saturday, all the way till Sunday evening, and then he's back at work at 6 o'clock on Monday morning.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
You take Justin from the National Medal.
Utah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's from Utah. I mean,
He's seen a news clip, and he goes, I got to go. And he drove 36 hours pulling his race car trailer. That's what he did. He races for a living.
That's, okay, so I've seen that
and
guy then.
He's still here. And he doesn't, from what I'm hearing, he said, I don't know if I'm going home. So it's, and I hear, to touch on what you're talking about, Sonny, I hear all these people around here, support your local nonprofits. Agreed. But it's a lot more than local nonprofits that's helping make this work.
Oh, yeah.
It's the entire country, and some people from across the pond have came over and helped as well. I mean, that's a lot more than local.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I heard a local
take Hot
thing.
Springs on Saturday.
Right.
Okay. We're there. You got the Northern Alliance. They're there.
Right.
They're staying there.
Right.
They're rebuilding the whole town.
Right.
Other than the locals, and we had probably 100 locals there,
Right.
mayor and the whole 9 yards. But the thing about it is, most of the people aren't like Ashley or myself or my wife or you guys. They're not from North Carolina. But these people dropped what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know, we got a buddy from Maynard, Mikey. You know,
Yep,
Mikey, I mean, he sold everything he had a, $100,000 a year job, and said, I got to go help these folks.
That was the thing that blew my mind when he first interviewed Sadie. I said, like, you guys and all these other ones, you have your own business, you're barely getting by as it is, and you decide, boom, I'm going to go here and do this. I would be, I'd probably do it in that situation, but
when we had the survival gear mission I did out of the church down here, and it was when it was just starting to slightly get cold, and we're like, okay, well, we're gonna bring in a bunch of survival gear and just go deliver it out to different places, and we had a whole group of people doing it. And I had a bunch of people messaging me, from the online groups, asking, if they could be helped with it or whatever. But you get a lot of people who, will be spam or a scammer or something like that. So you ignore a lot of messages. I had someone message me and say, that they wanted to help. And I thought that they were a scammer, so I didn't really get back to them. Well, they knew the name of the church and the city that we were in. So they just showed up because they were coming down here for their anniversary anyway. They just showed up, and we're out there unloading this U-Haul and sorting through all this supplies and stuff. And I'm like, can I help you? She goes, yeah, my name's Jessie, and I messaged you. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, we're from Minnesota. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, you're a real person.
And then, then I look in my messages and I said, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't reply to you. I thought you were a scammer. And they came all the way down from Minnesota, and we had a bunch of heaters that didn't come on our truck. We were supposed to get a lot more heaters than we got. So what do? They say, well, how can we help? I'm like, well, we need heaters. This kind of heater, blah, blah, blah. They went and spent their own money and bought like 15 buddy heaters and brought them back. I mean, just
that's awesome.
Incredible, and I've stayed in touch with them since, and it is so many people from different states, different parts of the world that have been contributing, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's also almost maddening in a way to see that people have taken it on themselves to do that stuff, but yet the people who should have been helping us from the beginning weren't.
Correct.
So
that's what I was going to say when you said about
really
people are stressing to help local organizations. The reason for that, and I'm just speaking from listening to a lot of people who really don't understand everything, but they've wanted to give, is that local churches and organizations, they know it's going to the right place. Anything bigger than that, anything coming from another state, they think of it as some sort of scam and they won't do it. Or him and his company sent an entire 18-wheeler down here, but he wouldn't give any of it to a government organization, a big organization, even a large charity, because a lot of charities, they give 10% or something like that. You know what I mean? So he was very selective and went through it was a group of churches, basically, is what it was.
If it's a church nonprofit, that's perfect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of individual nonprofits out there that have popped up in the state of North Carolina. Yeah. I mean, like in the last 3 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, that you need to be. Those are the ones you need to be leading.
Yes.
And then
it's great. Some of them are inspired to be actual, real, Tyler started his thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the longer we get into this, we're heading to 5 months. So the longer that we go, the more people are going to see it as an opportunity and are going to come in and hop in. This is when the scammers are going to start really sneaking in about the